Hello, I'm Daniel Stafford from the Stafford Voice. Today is June 8th, 2017, and this is your Thursday morning mashup. The Islamic State attack on Iran's parliament. Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps says Saudi officials coordinated the attack, which left at least 12 dead and 42 wounded. Quote, "Let there be no doubt that we will take revenge for today's attacks in Tehran on terrorists, their affiliates, and their supporters," from Brigadier General Hossein Salami, the deputy commander of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, said in a statement which was reported from Russian's propaganda outlet RT. Quote, "Saudi Arabia's Deputy Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, in challenging remarks made a few weeks ago, warned that his country would take the battle to Iranian soil," which comes as a quote from state-run Fars news agency on Wednesday morning after the attack. Bin Salman had noted in May that the Iranian government perceived Riyadh as a, quote, "primary target for state-sponsored terrorism," and said, "We won't wait for the battle to be in Saudi Arabia. Instead, we'll work so that the battle is for them in Iran." Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, has repeatedly claimed the United States, Israel, and, quote, "the West," created the Islamic State to keep the Middle East destabilized. In recent remarks, he even mocked the West for losing control of what he claimed was their own creation. He said, quote, "This is a fire that Western powers themselves ignited, and now has backfired on them." A combination of armed attackers and suicide bombers targeted two locations in the Iranian capital Wednesday morning, with Iranian officials identifying one of the suicide attackers as female. The gunman, dressed as a woman and carrying Kalashnikov rifles, executed a siege on the parliament that lasted 4 hours before Iranian law enforcement announced that they had killed all assailants. The attack interrupted an active parliament committee session. And the Islamic State has long targeted Iran and Shiite Muslims with no help from Saudi Arabia. The January 2016 edition of the ISIS magazine Dabiq carried the title "The Rafida," which was a derogatory term for Shiite Muslims meaning rejectors, in which ISIS scholars warned that Shiite Muslims would turn on the Sunni and join Jews and Christians in any future holy war, giving ISIS terrorists a license to kill them. The Shiites, it predicted, quote, "will continue to wage war against the Muslims until the Rafida ultimately unite with the Jews." Islamic State propaganda has also begun surfacing with greater frequency in Persian, suggesting most organized attempts to radicalize Sunni Iranians into attacking within the country. In other news, most likely to become a terrorist award goes to a 7th grade teacher from Houston, Texas, handed out the award as a joke as part of a mock ceremony ahead of summer vacation. In a statement on Wednesday, the Houston area Channelview Independent School District said, quote, "We have concluded our investigation and the teacher responsible is no longer employed by the district." Most likely to become a terrorist went to Lizeth Villanueva. Apparently, Villanueva understood it as a joke, considering some of the other awards students received. Like most likely to become homeless in Guatemala, most likely to cry at every little thing, and most likely to blend in with white people. Shaun, I pretend to be Black King, to boycott the NFL for anti-blackness. That's right, Kaepernick, the quarterback who spent the entirety of the 2016-17 season, who refused to stand for the national anthem and spoke out against the USA, our police, soldiers, and other first responders. He also repeatedly said the country was, quote, "never great." But after the season ended in February, the player announced both his free agency and an end to his year-long anti-American protests. But despite his new status for his pledge, that is, to end his embarrassing protests, Kaepernick has not been able to find a team to hire him for the coming football season. Consequences for actions, you say. King said, Shaun King, that is, said, "I can't, in good conscience, support this league, with many of its pro-Trump owners, and its blacklists as it blacklists my friend and brother Colin Kaepernick for taking a silent, peaceful stance against injustice and police brutality in America. It's disgusting and has absolutely nothing to do with football and everything to do with penalizing a brilliant young man for the principled stance he took last season." The white man who posed as a black man for a decade ranted and raved as Seattle Seahawks coach Pete Carroll for turning his back on Kaepernick and signing a white quarterback named Austin Davis instead. King labeled Davis a, quote, scrub over the incident. King went on to add that the ridiculous fragility of the conservative white male fan base has kept Kaepernick on the sidelines. As a reminder, King is boycotting the sports league that is almost 70% African American. It is a business where the average rookie salary is $365,000 a year, a number that goes up by tens of thousands every year. The player stays signed to an NFL team. It's also a league where the average player's salary is about $1.9 million annually. This is the same sports league that Shaun King says isn't black enough and is unfair and discriminatory to blacks. But this is also a man who directly equates anti-Americanism to being, quote, tolerant and right-thinking. And that's your Thursday morning mashup. You can get more stuff like this every Monday night, 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, wherever you may be. Tune in. Thanks and have a great day.